Hi, this is Rachelle with Scrapcraftastic, and I'm going to be working on my planner stack, my planner lineup, my planners for 2026. Normally, I would be pushing myself to be ready to go January 1 or even earlier and sometime in December. This year, I decided to take my time and not rush anything and start working when I was ready. So today I am ready to at least get started. I have an overwhelming amount of work to do, but we're just going to do a little bit at a time, little bits and pieces along the way. So this may end up being something that spans over several videos. I hope that's okay. But I'm going to be doing like some planner housekeeping, setting up new planners, resetting other planners, changing their clothes, which means like their covers, how they look. I'm going to go through kind of what I have here so that I can clear off the desk. Yeah, I think that would be the best thing to do. Some of this I've already shared in a previous video. So if you want more detailed information, I will link to that video in the iCard up above so you can see the new things. I'm also doing a lot of shopping my stash and repurposing things maybe that I've already used previously or that were brand new and I just never used them and need to get them used. Okay. I'm also using digitals, which I've been using digitals pretty much since day one because I really like them and I like the ability to be able to use things over and over again. All right. So this is the first thing that I have. This is an A5 disc bound cover from Live Love Posh, I believe. The discs are from Cloth and Paper. So this is what it was. I started this the last quarter of 2025. Did some spreads. I just really wasn't feeling doing my PR and social media in this planner anymore. So I didn't do anything. I did some decorating and that's it. So for some reason, I have these December inserts also, but I guess I'm just going to repurpose this paper and use it for something else because I don't need them. I didn't think I had December in here. So we may just be putting this aside. We may revisit this later. Let's jump to this one next. So we're going to work in this one. This will probably be one of the later ones that I work in. It needs some cleaning up. It needs some updating. I think this stuff is like 2 years old. Yeah, 2024. I Although I have been working in it in 2025, there is some 2025 stuff in here, but I feel like it needs to be updated and changed. This is kind of like a reference, a log with information that I'm using for my Patreon and membership. So maybe this could be like my membership notebook, but it needs to be cleaned up because initially it started out with being something else. So I really need to get in here and clean that up. So kind of what I'm thinking of for this. I don't usually share this. I usually keep it separate from my other planners and just have it nearby wherever I am so that I can grab it when I have ideas and jot them down. But this is a B6 Traveler's Notebook. The cover is from the old MLG and Co. that is no longer making covers that I know of. Hopefully she'll come back one day, especially now that Traveler's Notebooks seem to be making a comeback. So since we're talking about Traveler's Notebooks, let's look at this. I already have notes here on some of my setup ideas. This is another MLG and Co. cover. There's the branding there. And this is their Raven leather. When they were making covers, this was my favorite leather from them. This one is pretty worn, but I really like the Raven black leather. Right. So this is a traveler's notebook that I set up on this channel. I think I set it up in 2025. It has a little moving information in it. I didn't use it as much as I thought I would. I didn't really need it, but I have like moving stuff, how I wanted to organize my craft supplies for moving, et cetera, et cetera. I have some notes and other things. I think I'm going to do like I have done with other notebooks and just kind of ignore that stuff, leave it in there, and just work past it. I'm thinking I'm gonna call this kind of like my Commonplace book and my Brain Dump book. Also, these plastic covers. This one is from Lauren Phelps Designs. It has all the pockets. And it's the special one, I think, where you can fit multiple notebooks in it. I'm not using it that way right now. Maybe I will. Don't want this to get too full. I think that's where I mess up with my traveler's notebooks. I try to fill them to the brim and then they're heavy and I just don't want to deal with it. Um, so I'm going to try and keep this pretty slim. The dashboards are dashboards that were available to Scrapcraftastic channel members, the Craft Lab, and now Craft Stash. The Craft Labs, and I think this might have been 2024 too. Well, I don't remember. Anywho, if you are a Craft Lab Stash member, you will have access to all of 2025's dashboards, and moving forward, you'll have access to 2026 as well. So it's really worth it if you would like to become a Stash member or upgrade to the Stash membership. This, I think, was part of a set of accessories that I purchased off of Amazon. Anything that I can find and link to, I will do so in the description box below, like this notebook here. Yeah, with the kind of cream colored paper. I think this was a notebook that I cut down. It was an A5 and I cut it down to use in here. And I also, some of these clear covers that don't have the pockets that are just like this, those are from Chic Sparrow and they're actually dashboard covers. So they're actually smaller than the notebook size. So I had to trim these this notebook, a little bit smaller to be able to fit in here. So they're not the full size of a standard size traveler's notebook. And for reference, if you are using a standard size traveler's notebook, which this is what this is, the inserts or notebooks would be 4.33 inches by 8.25 inches. You could get away with 4 1/4 and then just trimming the paper down to 8.25. Or you could get away with 8 1/2 and making it 4 1/4 by 8 1/2. It just depends on how much cutting you want to do if you're making your own. If you're buying them, it's just a standard size or regular size traveler's notebook insert. So I do have several videos on the channel showing how to make your own traveler's notebooks. I'll link to a few in the description box below for you. And we will again be making notebooks for this, and I'll be cleaning this up, organizing it, and setting it up the way that I want it to be. Originally, I was using a Moterm traveler's notebook cover, but it's more slim, streamlined cover. This cover has a wider spine so it can accommodate more notebooks. Also, I don't have my other traveler's notebooks readily available, but I will be grabbing some of my covers out of storage so we can play around with that as well. If you are interested in standard size traveler's notebooks or even B6 or other smaller sizes like Pocket or Passport, let me know in the comments below if you would like me to do more content on traveler's notebooks. I do plan on trying to make my way through the whole year in this notebook. Not necessarily this cover, but in the standard size traveler's notebook. All right. Next thing up, I used this for about half of the year last year. And this is a standard size Stalogy. It is the 365 Stalogy A5 size that I trimmed down to standard size. Originally, this was in a traveler's notebook cover. I don't think I had it in this cover. I think I had it in the Moterm cover. This has a clear cover from Lauren Phelps Designs. I did a little decorating. I think I even started this one in 2024 as well, because I've got November and December, October, November, December in here. Yes. I didn't put the year, but I'm pretty sure it was 2024. I am learning and practicing even more now with putting the year on everything and even starting to put the date on anything that I write in a journal. That way I can look back and know when it was. But I'm pretty sure this is 2024. Then we jumped to 2025 with January. And I was using this pretty consistently at first because I was not decorating. I made myself this stencil here that I was using to draw my lines. and I use just a regular poly school folder, the 3-prong folder for the material to make the stencil. I use my own DIY tabs, and you'll see different size and styles of these tabs throughout these planners. But I use the laminated sticker tab. There's a video showing how to make those that I will link in the description box below as well. And I think I did pretty well. And then, I don't know, life changed and pretty much dropped it, even though I did start adding a little deco in here just to spice it up, make it a little bit more interesting. Not 100% sure how I want to use this moving forward, but I did pull it out because I was so tempted to just buy another A5 notebook and trim it down and start fresh. But no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to proceed with this, maybe in a different way. But I plan to work this into my planning system. Not sure exactly how I'm going to work this in with the traveler's notebook. It may just be a companion to it. Um, yeah, I got to figure out how I'm going to set because I want to separate the information. I have so many things that I'm interested in or that I'm thinking about, so many ideas. I think I could use a companion notebook for this. So that's another thing that is part of the lineup for 2026, even though I'm still working out the kinks on the flow of information. Let me put that back with the notebook. Next up is this skinny classic Discbound. These discs are from Office Depot, I believe, and the covers are from Live Love Posh. Good. And you could do these same types of covers with the Dollar Tree cutting mats. So this is a DIY planner. It did have covers on it, and I think I mentioned this in a recent video that I was coming back to this. I would be needed to put a new cover in here because I moved what I had to the back. Year after year, I have attempted to use a body book or health and fitness journal, notebook, planner. I'm going to make another attempt, but I think I'm going to do things a little differently. I think I'm going to categorize everything that I want to keep track of. So if I want to keep track of, for instance, blood pressure, I'm going to have a section for that. If I want to keep track of doctors and specialists, I have a separate section for that. Combining all of that in a planner format or a monthly calendar, weekly, it makes it difficult to find the information later. So if I section everything individually in a Discbound, that gives me the freedom to add pages, remove pages, reposition pages, but I can keep things separated and organized instead of filling in information on a weekly spread. So we're going to try that. I will probably have monthly calendars in here. I do have some weeklies. They are undated, so I don't have to use them constantly, just as needed. But I have lots of grid paper in here that I can, and dot grid, that I can divide up and make my sections. So I can put doctor's information, I can list doctor visits, things like that. So this will be the new body book, health, fitness, wellness planner. I can track symptoms, yeah, medication, whatever the case may be. That's what this will be for. Let's go over here to this pile. If you haven't seen this in a while, originally I set this up. This is a Lockbee. Um, I know they have a special name for it, but I don't remember what the special name was. Let me fold this up because it's getting eaten up. This has a little pocket on the back with the Velcro to hold it closed. I'm just going to tuck that in there. All right, one thing about this one is it picks up so much lint, but I have a lint roller to kind of help with that. So the cover is a waxed canvas. I think this is the black one, even though it's starting to look brown. I got the black one a few years ago on at a really good price during an after Christmas sale. Actually, I should go check their website and see if they have anything on sale. Again, this folder is an accessory pack that I think I got from Amazon. So is this clear cover. This is a notebook that I created here on the channel. So originally this, and I guess still, this was created to track craft projects, my junk journals, and just craft ideas in general. So there's lots of information in here. And actually, a project that I was working on that I wasn't recording, so I didn't really have like a record of it visually. Couldn't remember. I started it like months ago, early 2025. I couldn't remember where I was going with it. And I just happened to look through here and I saw my notes on what I would wanted to do and how my notes progressed over time. So I was really happy that I had written all of that down. This is a good idea. So I'm going to continue using this for any craft projects that I want to do. I even have little pictures of ongoing projects that I need to finish so that I can just write in here about those if I need to. They're not the best quality pictures, but these are like works in progress with that I need to get back to. Yeah, I got channels that I like to watch for inspiration. Started a list of digital shops, but yeah, that is what I'm going to be doing with this. This is the notebook that actually came with the cover, the Lockbee notebook. And this is a writing board that we also made on the channel. I will link to that in the description box below in case you're interested in making yourself a writing board to use. Which way is up? A writing board to use with your traveler's notebook or notebook system. All right, so I'm gonna stick that in there like that so it can curve the other way because it's starting to curve. So we got our craft notebook, paper crafting. All right. I didn't use this as much as I wanted to, but also I didn't do as much paper crafting in 2025 as I would have liked. So hopefully now I can get back to it. Next up is I can never remember the name, Nuestor A5 Traveler's Notebook. Looks like I'm gonna have a lot of Traveler's Notebook style things going on, which I really like Traveler's Notebook because everything is closed in pretty much and you can add notebooks and have a variety of different notebooks for different purposes. So if you're like me and you like to divide things up, categorize things with the Traveler's Notebook, you can do that or cover Traveler's Notebook system. With the system, you can have different categories of notebooks and still keep your things separate. So you could have a budget notebook, you could have your weekly planner notebook, you could have a notes notebook, things like that. That's what I mean. Let's say you can categorize. And my brain works that way. I always want to have separate. But then when I get separate, I'm like, oh, well, maybe I need to combine everything. And so over the years, I've been going back and forth with that idea. So now I'm just going to let it ride. I'm going to try the traveler's notebooks again. That worked for me, it seemed. And I just kind of strayed away because I wanted to try different things like Discbound, rings, and bound notebooks. So we'll see. In here, I've used the good old composition notebook that I have trimmed down to A5 size. This is the Crochet Traveler's Notebook. If you have been following me on the other channel, Scrapcraftastic Plan with me, you've heard me talk about crochet ad nauseum probably. You probably don't want to hear anymore, but I think that's what's keeping me sane these days. I'm not going to get into too much of that, but I've been crocheting. I've been goo goo gaga over yarn and lots of things. And if you are interested in any of my crochet shenanigans, you can find me here on YouTube at Center Pull Shell. I'll try to remember to put the link in the description box below and I'll put it in the iCard up above. But I am making things, making clothes for myself. I'm in a cool climate for the first time in maybe like 20 some odd years. So I have no winter type apparel. So I've been making things. I made blankets, I made hats, a scarf. And I'm trying to keep track of the things that I make, when I make them, what I use. I also have a whole database of my yarn stash, which is digital. Um, but I'm also working on making little cards for yarn samples. So you may see me making an actual book to house those cards on the channel. If you are interested in seeing that, let me know in the comments and I will definitely make it over here so you can see how I do it. But I have a couple of these composition notebooks in here. One was actually started at, I don't even know what month this was for, July, but I don't know what year. I gotta stop doing that. This initially I started at, I think it was 2025. I started for like a journal and I fell off quickly. I was trying to do a daily journal. That's just not for me. And what, July was the one and only month that I did. I decorated a little bit for August and then nothing. So I picked it up recently in October and started kind of, I don't know, I guess I've been having the urge to doodle and draw. So I started doodling and drawing kind of as a journal entry of my crochet, practicing my hand lettering. And of course, this fell by the wayside, but while I was doing it, I really had fun doing it. Um, yeah, so kind of drew some of the things that I was making, which I thought was a good idea because I could just look instantly at the page and say, okay, that's when I made the crochet bag, the little beanie that matched. I made a little witch hat, or, you know, and I talked about yarn that I purchased. So this was part of my situation going on with the witch's hat, drawing it out and talking about what I was doing. So yeah, and especially when I'm making things or crocheting things that I'm not using a pattern for, that I'm just freehanding it, winging it. I kind of like to write that down so when I come back to make something else, make it again, I have a record of what I did, what hook size I used, what yarn I used, et cetera, how many stitches, things like that. So I kind of fell off in October. I wasn't doing it every day, but as I was making things. And then I decided for November, let me try just drawing a calendar. Then I can write down when I started the project, when I ended the project. And I think I did this like late November. So here we go with December. I used the sidebar over here. Let's try to get in frame. I used the sidebar to write down projects that I wanted to do. And I just went back and looked at this the other day. I only actually did one of these things, but I can just carry this over if I want to continue with those things. I did note what I started, what I finished, and I want to do better at keeping track of what I'm working on each day as well. I went in here with some ideas. And this is something that I'm trying for the next month. And in between doing these monthlies, I have space to write down more information if I want to. But I am keeping this notebook, by the way. But I decided to do the listed monthly calendar. That way I can write down, feel like a little bit more per day of what I'm doing or what I want to keep a record of. Hopefully this will work. And again, I'm practicing on a little hand lettering, doodling, drawing. I didn't finish this, but I want to do a page of my goals in crochet for the year. So I'll be working on that. I got yarn receipts in the back. And this is another one that I haven't really kept up. This is a composition style notebook. This is one of the craft colored notebooks that I got from Amazon. I think it was a pack of like 8, 10. I don't know. I'll link to it in the description box below. But they are around half letter size, I think. I think. Or did I cut this? I can't remember if I cut it. So I'm using this for projects slash excuses to buy yarn. So any projects that I have upcoming that I want to make or that I just have ideas for, I'm putting that information in here. Again, if I'm writing a pattern, I'm going to put the whole pattern in here. This talked about the 6-day star blanket that I made, what yarns I used for each round. I wanted to make this poncho, but I chose to make a different one, but I had that in here because I want to make it. Just trying to give you an idea of how I'm using these things because they're not just frivolous sitting around just so I can decorate or have something. I am using these things. This is an idea of a Southwest poncho that I want to make, and I was pulling colors and designs as inspiration for that. And I'd even started using like some color pencils to note the colors. I just got tired of it because I had so many of those particular color pencils. It was just becoming a pain to find the right color. This is information on a video that I was following for the project. So I was taking notes so that didn't have to keep watching the video over and over again. This is a project that I want to do, a 12-point star blanket that can turn into a spider web. Again, talking about projects that I make, basically giving the pattern information. And that's pretty much it in here. And I do number the pages so that eventually I'll go back and do an index or a table of contents probably. And this is just printouts of different colors yarn. And these are blanket sizes. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a baby blanket on here, and I'll be making a baby blanket. This notebook, I'm thinking I'm going to take out. Let's go on and take it out because I'm not using it. And this is one of the inexpensive notebooks, A5, that they have at Walmart. I think you get two in a pack. Again, I'll link to everything in the description box below so you can check it out. It's just information in the back. I usually keep this one out close at hand so that I can jot things down quickly, but I did tuck it in here and I'll probably keep it in here. I haven't been too focused on covering these. Okay, these are in the clear covers that I ordered from Jet Pens. So these aren't even the ones from Chic Sparrow. These are the Jet Pens. And they're fairly inexpensive. I'll link to those as well. I got a lot of linking to do. And I'll link to this cover also. The cover again is from Amazon. Let's see if we can get this down in here without putting it on the elastic. If you've been following and watching, you've probably seen this because I did this laminated DIY cover on this composition notebook on the channel. I'll link to the video in the description box below. You can check it out. This is what the inside covers look like. That's the back. That's the front. We still have quite a bit of work to do on this, but this is what I've been using this for, is to do the challenge, the weekly challenge, and I was decorating the monthlies as well. And all I do is use a double-sided dot roller tape to adhere the printable inserts that are available to Scrapcraftastic patrons into the composition notebook and then decorate. The reason I like to add them in, the pages in, I do print usually on a 20-pound paper, a lightweight paper, because I don't want it to be too heavy on the thin paper of the composition notebook. So this paper is fairly thin. I could draw on it. I could glue pages together. I don't want to glue pages together. And if I were to just draw out my spreads, it's going to shadow and possibly bleed through because the paper is thin. There are ways around that, but I just felt like this was a way for me to just use my inserts and get the layout, make it a little less work for me, not having to draw it out. I may do some drawn layouts here and there, but for the most part, I rather just tip in the inserts. Let me know what you think about that. Do you think I should just draw all the spreads, or are you okay with me tipping in? I just feel like the tipping in gives that page a little more weight and it holds up better over time, and I can do a lot more fancy smancy stuff with it. Let me know what you think. But I will be using this moving forward for the new year as the PR and social media planner. I feel like that gives me a lot more room to write down what I need to write down. And if it doesn't work out, then I can just go back to using it creatively and just as a way to add stickers and have fun, basically. So yeah, that's what I'll be using the composition notebook for. Now, I completely forgot when I set this aside what I had this out for. This is for the challenge. I'm moving from here, from the composition notebook, to the A5 Discbound for the challenge. How could I not remember that? I just completely forgot. So I got to get busy with the challenge. I've been horrible at keeping up with it. So I'm thinking maybe in a smaller format, I may be able to do a little bit better than going all out. This is actually very close to Happy Planner size or classic size. I'm actually using the classic size printable inserts in the composition notebook. All right, we got one more pile to go through, and then I'll come back in a different video to work on adding inserts. I'll come back and do that. I don't want to, because this has been long, 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 and we still are not finished. So this is my old faithful B6 Stalogy that I'll be using for my everyday planner. I really need to get going with this. I'm already late with my setups. It's just been a lot going on with the holidays and then unexpected events happening. But I do have the clear cover for it from Lauren Phelps Designs. I'm pretty sure I shared this previously. And I need to get this set up and ready to go. Again, everyday planner, which there's tons of videos on this channel and on the Scrapcraftastic Plan With Me channel showing how I use that. This is going to be my to-do slash daily type planner. I'm going to go ahead and take this one out of the cover because the cover is sticky and it's, yeah. So this is what it looks like. It did come with its own cover here. I may end up using that for something else, but it did come with the cover. And I'm going back to this cover. This is a Hobonichi A6 cover with the actual cover, and then the clear part is the clear cover on cover. I need to go in and clean this up. This is what I used in 2024. This is the one that I'm used in 2025, so I need to like clean all the pockets out of this. And I did really well in 2025 in this, and get busy in my 2026. And I do have the cover for this as well, or just the notebook. So this goes in here like this, and this I'm going to use that cover. I just need to clean off the covers. So I have two Hobonichi covers and clear cover on cover that I can switch back and forth with, and I may add another one if I find one inexpensive enough uh, online. May add another one to my collection. So I'm going to keep that one close by. I do have an ollie clip for this, but I think I put it away. I just got to figure out where I put it away to. All right, because it was a gift, and I know I have it because I have a bunch of ollie clips clipped together to keep them from getting lost. So these two are the priority right now. Need to get those set up ASAP. All right. So I have this 2026 printable insert of monthlies. This is Traveler's Notebook size. So we'll be making that notebook. I have my January inserts for the composition notebook. For the most part, in 2025, I did vertical. We're going to play around with some horizontal for this month at least. So those pages need to be trimmed and added into the composition notebook. And then I have these monthly calendars set up for the whole year of 2026 to use in the B6 notebook. Again, this one isn't the priority, but when I'm doing the inserts and making the notebooks, I think I'll just make all of those together. There's a few other things that I need to print. So I've also printed the latest Craft Lab Craft Stash dashboard. I printed it in B6 size because I'm going to be putting it in my everyday planner. And while we're here, let me show you these quickly. Just so that you know, if you are a patron, these are the latest digitals available. This is the journaling stickers, has a dark circus theme. This is the scenes for January. These are the January printables, some of them. This again with the circus theme, carnival circus. I say circus. And then this is the monthly. But someone mentioned that I don't put the month on these monthly kits. I do that because I want you to be able to, when possible, use it for any time, not specifically that the month that they're released in. But since it was requested, I'm kind of reconsidering that. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I think I could kind of rid of a couple of these flags or maybe all the flags and put the month there. So let me know what you think. And then we also have the 2026 stickers, and I know this is late, but I'm pretty sure I talked about this already. Feel like I did. This is the purple Christmas, December scenes. So those are available to Scrapcraftastic patrons. They are available now. So grab your downloads, especially if you are not an unlimited member, because some things do expire over there. All right. Hopefully in the next video, we'll be back to set these up. We'll start here. Then we'll move on. Let me know what you think. If you have any suggestions, ideas, drop down in the comments and let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it informative or helpful or just something to do when there's nothing to do. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to share the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.